Have you ever felt like you're playing a part, like you're an actor in the movie of your own life, reading lines that someone else wrote for you? You follow the script, you hit your marks, you do everything you're supposed to do. You're told this is what it means to be an adult. But late at night, when the applause dies down and you're all alone, a quiet question echoes in your mind. Is this really me? Society gives us a simple checklist for growing up: get good grades, find a secure job, buy a house, get married, have children. We are taught from a very young age that ticking these boxes is the guaranteed path to a happy and successful life. It is presented as a clear, safe, and reliable map. If you just follow the steps, you will arrive at your destination, a respectable, complete, and fulfilling adulthood. Everyone agrees this is the way. We learn to wear the right mask for the right occasion. For work, we wear the mask of the ambitious professional, confident and capable. We smile, we network, we climb the ladder, chasing the next promotion and the approval of our superiors. We become this character so completely that we start to believe it ourselves. This is success, we think. This feeling of being accepted and admired by the crowd is what we have been working for our entire lives. We don't just wear one mask. We have a mask for every social situation. We have one for our friends, one for our family, and another for strangers. We carefully craft these faces to fit in, to be liked, and to avoid judgment. We learn to laugh at jokes we don't find funny, and to hide opinions that might cause trouble. The goal is to blend in seamlessly, to become an accepted part of the group, never standing out too much. After years of hard work, you finally have it all. The perfect house with the white picket fence, the stable career, the life that everyone said you should want. From the outside, your life looks like a picture from a magazine. It is neat, tidy, and completely in order. You have successfully built the life that the world defines as grown up. You stand before it, the architect of a perfect existence. Or so it seems. We believe in this path because it feels safe. It is a well-trodden road, and millions of people have walked it before us. There are signs and guideposts everywhere, telling us what to do next. If we just keep our heads down and follow the glowing line on the ground, we can avoid the scary, unknown wilderness on either side. This conformity feels like a warm blanket, protecting us from the cold uncertainty of forging our own way. You look around at parties, at family gatherings, at your workplace, and it seems like everyone else has it figured out. They all seem genuinely happy, laughing and smiling, perfectly content in their roles. You start to think the problem isn't the path. The problem must be you. Why can't you feel the same uncomplicated joy? This comparison makes you hide your own feelings of emptiness even deeper, for fear of being seen as the only one who failed. This life of following the rules offers an illusion of control and safety. By building walls of routine and expectation around ourselves, we feel protected from the chaos and unpredictability of life. We are inside a comfortable glass box, able to see the storms of the world outside, but never feeling the rain or the wind. We trade true experience for predictable comfort, telling ourselves that this is the mature and responsible choice to make. It feels like a fortress we have built. This is what it means to be an adult, right? This collection of achievements, roles, and responsibilities. This is the prize at the end of the race of childhood. Yet, even as you receive the rewards, a strange feeling of disappointment can creep in. It feels less like a true accomplishment, and more like a graduation into a different kind of confinement. The cap feels heavy, and the gown feels like a costume you are forced to wear for the ceremony. And so, the lie takes root. We believe that growing up is an external process of accumulation. We think it's about collecting titles, possessions, and the approval of others. We mistake the mask for our real face and the script for our true voice. But we have paid a high price for this comfortable lie. We have traded our authentic self for a hollow shell, and deep down, a part of us knows that something is desperately wrong with this picture. The unraveling begins subtly. It's a quiet feeling that something is missing, even when you are surrounded by everything you ever thought you wanted. It's the taste of ash in the most expensive meal. It's the silence that feels too loud in your beautiful, empty house. It's a persistent, nagging sense of being a stranger in your own skin. The life you've built, which should feel so full, instead feels profoundly empty, like a beautifully decorated but unfurnished room. Then, the first crack appears. It's a small, almost unnoticeable fracture in the perfect mask you present to the world. It might happen after a careless comment, a moment of unexpected frustration, or a wave of sadness that comes from nowhere. For a split second, something raw and real breaks through the polished surface. You quickly patch it up, hoping no one noticed, but you know it's there. The perfect facade is no longer perfect. A dangerous question starts to bubble up from the depths of your being. Is this really all there is? You look at the predictable path stretching out before you for the next 40 years, and a feeling of panic sets in. The safe road now looks like a cage. This question is a rebellion. It's the first sign that your true self is tired of being ignored and is starting to fight back against the role it has been forced to play for so long. Your life starts to feel like a performance on a loop. You wake up, put on your mask, play your part, go to sleep, and repeat. The days, weeks, and years blur into one another. You are walking, working, and striving, but you are not moving forward. You are stuck on a treadmill, running faster and faster, but never actually getting anywhere new. The scenery never changes, and the destination you were promised never gets any closer. You start to catch glimpses of something else. Something you have pushed down and hidden away for your entire life. For a split second, you see a different face in the mirror, a dark figure in the corner of your eye, or hear a strange voice in your thoughts. This is your shadow self, the part of you that you rejected because it was too messy, too emotional, too wild, or too different for the neat little box of your life. This hidden self contains all the parts of your personality that you were taught to be ashamed of. It holds your untamed creativity, your righteous anger, your deep-seated fears, and your secret desires. It is the artist you were told not to be, the adventurer you were told to suppress, the rebel you learned to silence. We spend half our lives running from this part of ourselves, terrified of what the world would think if it ever came to light. The more you ignore this hidden part of you, the louder it gets. It doesn't go away. Instead, it starts to sabotage your carefully constructed life from the inside. It manifests as unexplained anxiety, sudden bursts of rage, feelings of depression, or self-destructive behaviors. It is your soul screaming for attention, trying to break free from the prison you have built for it. The perfect life begins to crumble under the pressure from within. You feel like a puppet, and you can finally see the strings. The expectations of your parents, the pressures of society, the demands of your job. Each one is a string, pulling your arms, your legs, and forcing a smile onto your face. You realize that you have not been making your own choices. You have been dancing to a tune that someone else composed, and the realization is both terrifying and liberating. You see the mechanism of your own unhappiness. This internal conflict between the mask you wear and the true self you've hidden creates a deep and painful split within you. You are living two lives. The outer life is successful and respectable, but the inner life is a wasteland of neglected dreams and suppressed feelings. This division drains your energy and leaves you feeling hollow and inauthentic. You are not a whole person, but two fractured halves at war with each other. The world that once seemed so solid and real now feels fake. The awards seem like cheap plastic. The praise sounds hollow and insincere. The solid ground beneath your feet feels like thin ice, ready to crack at any moment. The comfort you found in conformity has transformed into a profound sense of alienation. You are surrounded by people, yet you have never felt more alone in your entire life. The stage set is starting to fall apart. In a moment of quiet desperation, you might find yourself looking up at the night sky or out at the vast ocean. In the face of this immense, silent nature, your carefully constructed life, your job title, your social standing, all of it suddenly seems incredibly small and insignificant. This perspective is a shock to the system. It makes you realize how much of your life you have spent worrying about things that do not truly matter in the grand scheme. The pain of living this lie becomes greater than the fear of the unknown. The mask becomes so heavy you can barely hold your head up. The constant performance is exhausting. The emptiness inside becomes a black hole, threatening to consume you. You reach a breaking point. You realize that you cannot continue to live this way. Something has to change, or you will break completely. The old way of life is no longer an option. This moment of breakdown is not an ending. It is a beginning. It is the painful, messy, but necessary collapse of the false self. It is the demolition of the prison you mistook for a home. This is the moment that true growth becomes possible. You must fall apart before you can be put back together in a new, more authentic way. It is a sign that your soul is ready to begin the real journey of growing up. You start to question everything you have been taught. Was the map you were given wrong? Was the destination a lie? You begin to look at the world with new eyes, not the eyes of a follower, but the eyes of a seeker. You start to hunger for something real, something true, something that resonates with the deep forgotten part of yourself. This is the dawn of your own personal philosophy, the first step towards finding your own answers. You start to see the masks on everyone else. You notice the forced smiles, the rehearsed laughter, the way people hide their true feelings behind a wall of politeness. You see the same fear and insecurity that you felt in yourself. You realize that most people are also just playing a part. They are not happy and complete. They are just better actors, more committed to the role they have been assigned in life. This realization brings a strange kind of comfort. You are not alone in your feeling of being lost. In fact, almost everyone is lost. They are just lost together, in a crowd, pretending they know the way. The difference is that you have now admitted it to yourself. You have acknowledged the feeling of being adrift, and this honesty is the first real step towards finding a solid shore, a truth you can stand on. The chains that once held you start to feel a little looser. These are the chains of "I should," "I have to," and "what will people think?" Each question you ask, each doubt you allow yourself to feel, is like a file scraping against a link. You are not free yet, but for the first time you can feel the possibility of freedom. The idea that you can choose your own path begins to feel less like a fantasy and more like a real possibility. You begin to retreat, not out of fear, but out of necessity. You need space and silence to hear your own voice again, which has been drowned out by the noise of the world for so long. You spend more time alone, in nature, or just sitting in silence. You are not being antisocial. You are beginning a deep and personal conversation with the parts of yourself that you have ignored for decades. It is a sacred and necessary pilgrimage inward. In this silence, you finally stop running from the shadow figure you kept glimpsing. You stop pushing away the uncomfortable feelings and thoughts. Instead, you turn around. You decide that whatever this dark, hidden part of you is, you will face it. This is a moment of immense courage. It is the decision to stop being a victim of your own inner world and to become an explorer of it, no matter how dark the caves may seem. The great lie has been exposed. The idea that growing up is about conforming to an external ideal is revealed to be a map to a hollow life. You now stand at a crossroads. The old, familiar path has crumbled behind you. Ahead lies a new path, one that is dark, uncertain, and that you must walk alone. This is the turning point. This is where the real journey of becoming an adult finally begins. And here is the core truth, the secret that Carl Jung spent his life exploring. True growth, the real process of growing up, is not an outward journey. It is not about adding more achievements or wearing a better mask. It is a journey inward. It is the process of turning around to face the parts of yourself you have abandoned. It is a journey into your own darkness, not to be consumed by it, but to bring it into the light. This hidden part of you is what Jung called the shadow. It is the container for everything you deemed unacceptable about yourself. It is your anger, your fear, your wildness, your vulnerability, your secret passions. Society told you to cut these parts off and throw them away in order to be a good and successful person. But you cannot throw away a part of your own soul. You can only ignore it, and it will haunt you forever. The greatest mistake we make is to think this shadow is evil. We see it as our enemy, a monster to be slain. But the shadow is not your enemy. It is a wounded and neglected part of you. It is a child locked in the basement, banging on the door, desperate to be seen and heard. It holds immense energy and vitality. It holds the very parts of you that you need to become a whole and complete human being. To truly grow up means you must stop running. You must turn toward your shadow. You must have the courage to ask it, what do you want? What pain are you carrying? What gifts have I rejected? This is the work of a lifetime. It is a slow, patient process of listening to the whispers from your own inner darkness. It requires compassion for yourself, especially for the parts of you that you have hated for so long. When you start to listen, you realize the shadow holds your greatest treasures. It is where your creativity is hidden if you were told to be practical. It is where your strength is hidden if you were told to be quiet. It is where your passion is hidden if you were told to be sensible. The very things you need to feel alive are locked away in the parts of yourself you were most afraid of. Your power is in your darkness. The goal is not to defeat the shadow, but to integrate it. To bring it out of the basement and give it a seat at the table. It means accepting your anger as a source of power, your sadness as a source of empathy, and your wildness as a source of freedom. This is the sacred marriage of the light and the dark within you. It is the process of becoming whole. You stop being a divided house and become a unified kingdom. This process is what Jung called individuation. It means shedding the collective masks and expectations of society to become a true, unique, and undivided individual. It is the difference between a piece of driftwood tossed about by the waves of public opinion and a ship with its own rudder and its own captain, navigating the sea of life with purpose and direction. You stop being a copy and become an original. A person who has integrated their shadow is not perfect. They are whole. They are no longer pretending to be only good, only strong, or only happy. They have access to the full spectrum of human experience. They can be compassionate and fierce. They can be disciplined and spontaneous. They are more grounded, more authentic, and more resilient because they are no longer wasting energy hiding from themselves. They are powerfully and unapologetically real. This is the real meaning of growing up. It is not about reaching a certain age or a certain status. It is about taking full responsibility for your entire self, not just the socially acceptable parts. It's the courageous act of owning every single piece of who you are. Most people never do this. They live and die with their masks on, never knowing the freedom and power of their whole integrated being. By facing your shadow, you reclaim the energy you were using to suppress it. Imagine trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It takes constant effort and focus. Releasing the ball lets it burst to the surface, and all that energy is suddenly available to you. Integrating your shadow is the same. It liberates a massive amount of psychic energy that you can now use to create, to love, and to live more fully. You start to trust yourself in a way you never have before. You develop an inner compass. Instead of looking outside for answers, to experts, to society, to trends, you learn to look within. You have a deep, intuitive sense of what is right for you, even if it goes against what everyone else is doing. Your own soul becomes your most trusted guide on the journey of life. You no longer need the old, false map. Your relationships become more authentic. When you stop wearing a mask, you allow other people to see the real you. This is scary, but it is the only way to form a genuine connection. Some people who were in love with your mask may leave, but the people who stay will be connected to your true self. Your relationships will have less performance and more real, honest intimacy. The world doesn't necessarily become easier, but you become stronger. You are no longer brittle. You can bend without breaking. Life's storms will still come, but you now have deeper roots. You can face pain and disappointment without crumbling, because you are no longer trying to maintain a perfect, flawless image. You understand that hardship is part of a whole life, just as shadow is part of a whole person. You develop a profound sense of purpose that comes from within, not from external validation. Your purpose might not be grand or famous. It might be to create art, to raise a family with consciousness, to be a good friend, or to cultivate a garden. But it is your purpose, chosen by your whole self. It gives your life a meaning that no job title or salary could ever provide. Paradoxically, by embracing your own unique individuality, you feel a deeper connection to all of humanity. When you accept your own shadow, you develop compassion for the shadow in others. You see that everyone is struggling in their own way. You stop judging people so harshly because you understand the complex war that rages inside every human heart. Your personal journey connects you to the universal human story. This journey has no final destination. Individuation is not a goal to be achieved, but a continuous process to be lived. You are never done, There are always deeper layers of the self to explore, new aspects of the shadow to integrate. A truly grown-up person understands that life is about constant growth and evolution. They remain a humble student of their own soul until the very end. You learn to find joy not just in the peaks of life, but in the entire landscape. You can appreciate the beauty of a melancholic rainy day as much as a sunny one. You understand that life's richness comes from its contrasts, from the interplay of light and shadow, joy and sorrow, success and failure. You stop chasing a state of constant happiness, and instead embrace the fullness of being alive. This is the real path to freedom. It is not freedom from pain or responsibility. It is the freedom to be your authentic self, the freedom to make your own choices, guided by your own inner truth, the freedom to live a life that is meaningful to you, regardless of whether it meets society's approval. It is the quiet, powerful freedom of a person who is finally at home in their own skin. Most people will choose the comfortable prison of conformity over the difficult freedom of their own soul. They will keep their masks on, follow the familiar script, and chase the hollow prizes. This is why most people, in the psychological sense that Jung described, never truly grow up. They become adults in body, but remain children in soul, forever hiding from their own magnificent, terrifying wholeness. So the revelation is this: growing up is not about what you acquire. It is about what you are willing to confront. It's not about building a perfect life. It is about dismantling the false one. It's the journey from the simple, conforming person you were told to be, to the complex, whole, and unique individual you were always meant to become. This is the great, hidden adventure of human life. Now you see the two paths with clarity. The first path is wide, paved, and crowded. It is brightly lit with the artificial lights of social approval. It promises comfort, security, and acceptance. It leads to a city where every building is the same, where every person is a copy. It is the easy way, the path of the collective, the path of the mask. It is a life lived in a pleasant, predictable twilight. The second path is the one you must choose for true growth. It is a narrow, rocky mountain trail. It is often dark, and you must walk it alone. There are no signs, only the compass of your own heart. This is the path of individuation. It is a journey that demands courage, resilience, and a willingness to be misunderstood by the crowd you left behind. It is the hard path, but it is the only one that leads to the summit. Choosing this path is an act of rebellion. The crowd on the easy road will not understand. They may call you strange, selfish, or crazy. They will point from the comfort of their conformity. This is the price of authenticity. You must be willing to let go of the need for everyone to like you and approve of you. You must find your validation from within, not from the chorus of the crowd. There will be times when you stumble and fall. The path is steep and the rocks are sharp. You will confront parts of yourself that are painful to see. You will feel lost and doubt your choice. This is part of the process. Every time you fall and get back up, you become stronger. Every fear you face and overcome deepens your character. The struggle is not an obstacle to the journey. The struggle is the journey. Unlike the outer world with its fleeting rewards, this inner work builds something permanent. You are not building a life of possessions that can be lost. You are forging a soul. You are cultivating an inner strength and a deep sense of peace that no one can ever take away from you. This is the true treasure. It is the unshakable foundation you build by facing yourself, stone by painful stone. As you climb higher, your perspective changes. The noisy concerns of the city below begin to fade away. The gossip, the status games, the frantic chase for more, it all seems small and distant. You begin to breathe a thinner, cleaner air. You are rising above the fog of collective delusion and starting to see the world and your place in it with a clarity that is both breathtaking and humbling. The loneliness of this path is real, but it transforms. It ceases to be the painful loneliness of alienation and becomes the powerful solitude of the ego. It is a chosen solitude, one that allows for deep thought and connection with your true self. You learn to be your own best company. In this silence, you find a richness and a depth that the noise of the crowd could never offer. This transformation is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming more fully yourself. It is an excavation, not a construction. You're chipping away all the parts that are not you, the fears, the conditioning, the false beliefs, to reveal the masterpiece that was there all along. The journey of growing up is a journey of returning to the person you were before the world told you who you should be. You start to embody a quiet confidence that is not arrogance. It is the calm assurance of someone who knows themselves, flaws and all. You no longer need to prove your worth to anyone. You are not loud or boastful. You have a grounded presence. People may not understand it, but they can feel it. It is the quiet authority of a person who has walked through their own inner fire and emerged whole. The easy life of conformity leads to a slow, spiritual death. It is a comfortable numbness, a life lived in shades of gray. The hard life of self-exploration, though filled with struggle, is vibrant and alive. It is a life lived in full, glorious color. The choice is between an easy, hollow existence and a difficult but meaningful one. This is the fundamental choice that determines whether a person truly grows up. A person who walks this path of transformation becomes a source of light for others, whether they intend to or not. They don't preach or lecture, they simply live their truth. Their very existence is a quiet invitation for others to begin their own journey. They become a lighthouse, not trying to change the sea, but simply standing as a guide for any ships that are lost in the dark and looking for a way home. The strength you gain is not a hard, brittle strength. It is a flexible, resilient power. It's the strength of water, which can yield and flow, but also has the power to carve through stone over time. You no longer need to meet the world with a rigid, defensive posture. You can meet it with an open heart, secure in the knowledge that you have the inner resources to handle whatever comes your way. Eventually, after a long climb, you break through the storm clouds. You reach a place of clarity and peace. This is not a final destination, but a new vantage point. From here, you can see the beauty of the whole journey, the dark valleys, the treacherous cliffs, and the difficult ascent. You feel a deep sense of gratitude for the entire path, because you understand that every single step, even the painful ones, was necessary to bring you here. This is what it means to be the hero of your own story. Not a hero who slays external dragons, but one who has the courage to face the dragons within. This is the great journey that mythology and religion have pointed to for thousands of years. It is the journey from unconsciousness to consciousness, from fragmentation to wholeness. It is the most important work a human being can ever do. The path of transformation has taken you from a state of being a hollow puppet to a whole person. You have walked through the fire of self-knowledge and have not been burned, but forged. You have answered the call to adventure, not in some distant land, but in the vast, unexplored territory of your own soul. The greatest journey is the one within, and by undertaking it, you have finally, truly grown up. Now, let's bring this journey back to you. This story is not just about a character in a video. It is your story. It is the story of every human being who feels the quiet dissatisfaction, the sense that there must be more to life than just playing a role. The path of Jung is not a historical idea. It is a living map available to you right now in this moment. So I ask you, what is your shadow? What are the parts of yourself that you've hidden away in the dark? Is it your creativity, your anger, your vulnerability, your secret dream to live a different kind of life? Take a moment to honestly ask yourself what part of you is banging on the basement door, asking to be seen. Acknowledging it is the first step on your own path. You hold the key to your own integration. No one can do this work for you. No guru, no teacher, no video can walk the path for you. They can only point the way. The courage to turn and face yourself must come from you. The choice to embrace your whole self with all its light and all its darkness is yours and yours alone. The power to become whole is already within your hands. Remember, the goal is not to become perfect, it is to become whole. This means forgiving yourself for not being the flawless person society demanded you to be. It means having compassion for your own flaws and failures. Wholeness includes the cracks, the scars, and the imperfections. In fact, these are often the most beautiful and interesting parts of a person, the places where the light gets in. This journey from the lie of conformity to the truth of the self is the most profound act of growing up. It is a quiet revolution that happens inside the soul. It is the choice to live an authentic life, even if it is a more difficult one. This is the choice that separates the psychological adult from the psychological child. It is the choice to become the author of your own story. Do not be afraid of your own depth. The human soul is as vast and complex as the cosmos. It contains multitudes, light and darkness, peace and chaos, love and fear. To live a full life is to explore this inner universe with curiosity and courage. To remain on the surface, living only in the shallow end of your own being, is the greatest tragedy of all. Dive deep. So the next time you feel that sense of being an imposter or that quiet feeling of emptiness, do not run from it. Listen to it. It is a call to adventure from the deepest part of you. It is the beginning of the most important journey you will ever take. It is the call to finally, truly, and completely grow up by becoming who you were always meant to be. Embrace your entire self. The world does not need another copy. It does not need another person wearing a mask of conformity. What the world needs, what you need, is the unique, powerful, and whole individual that you are. By embarking on this journey, you not only heal yourself, you offer a profound gift to the world, the gift of your own, true, integrated being. The path is not easy, but the alternative, a life of quiet desperation, of being a stranger to yourself, is so much harder. The question is not whether the journey will be difficult. The question is whether you have the courage to begin. The choice to remain a child, safe in the collective dream, or to awaken into the difficult reality of your own magnificent self, is yours.